Hello everybody. So, I don't know if you noticed, I don't do a lot of front-facing camera videos, but we are in a whole new space. I moved last weekend and I have a really great art setup. You can see I have a desk. I didn't have a desk before. I used to work at the dining room table and I'm really excited about it because it means that I think it'll make it a lot easier for me to film videos where I'm actually talking live instead of having to narrate over. So while I was unpacking, I came across a couple things. I was unpacking some memory boxes and I found a folder that has a collection of art I made in college. If you don't know, I was in college, I graduated in 2022 and I'm filming this in 2025, the end of 2025. And I got my degree in studio art. So some of them are pieces from like my classes. Some of them are pieces that I made at the time. I didn't really look through it because I thought it'd be fun if we kind of did that together and it was more of like a surprise reaction. But I do know that there's a lot of things that have changed about my style. If you watch any of my videos, you know that I illustrate very cute, whimsical, cozy type of things. I'm trying to see if I have any examples around me. I do have some, a sneak peek. So I'm working on some stickers. And I kind of already shared this in one video, but you can see like my style. I also have this one in here. This is another sticker I made. I know it's reversed. It says made in his image though. So yeah, that's the kind of work I do, and I didn't really start doing. My style really changed actually this last February, but since then it's obviously gone through a roller coaster like every single artist. So I have some tea with me. I have lemon ginger tea, so maybe you'll hear me sipping that, and I hope that doesn't bother you. But I'll just turn the camera around and we can look through the art together. I think it'd be kind of fun. I asked you guys what you would rather see, this video or a live chatty type of video while I'm drawing. And you know, those live chatty videos never seem to do well, and clearly people don't want them as much, but I'm probably gonna film one soon because I like doing them for some reason. I think I just like talking, if I'm being honest. So yes, I'm gonna turn the camera around and we will look at some art from a few years ago, and I think it'll be really fun. So, have you all turned around? Let me scooch in close. This is the folder I found. It's got all sorts of stuff in it. And then I also found this. So we'll start with this one because it's obviously big and I want to get it kind of off my desk and out of the way. But this is a piece I did, I think my senior year of college. It was an abstract class. And it was like one of my favorite pieces I had done. I can't remember if this was done in watercolor or gouache. I think it was gouache because I know we had to use gouache. But the prompt, it was something to do with fall and like seeing outside. So we have like references to trees and fall colors and some clouds. And the leaves kind of represented in this pattern here. Excuse me. And it's done on this cool rag type paper. I don't know if you can see even on the edge here, that really cool texture we have. But I actually really loved this piece. It is like one of my favorite kind of color schemes to draw in. And I actually didn't get a very good grade on this. Now granted, okay, when I say not a good grade, in my experience at college, if you like tried and you put in the effort, you got an A on your art pieces. And this one I got a B because it was too doodly, and that has always bothered me a little bit because it's like, my style is doodly, like the art I make might be considered doodly, but I don't think that we need to downgrade like the quality just because you don't see it as serious enough. I don't know. But I saved this. Actually, a lot of this is, I know, not a huge work. A lot of my larger works I don't even have anymore because I didn't like them. And I just didn't feel like carrying them around. I don't know if you saw at the start of this video, there was a painting behind me of blue flowers. That one was from college that I had done. But yeah, so that's this first piece. And I don't know. Do you think it's too doodly? Do you get what they're saying? Or do do you think that that's kind of a silly mark to make? I think it's silly. But now we can look into my magical unicorn folder here and see what we've got. So I'm just going to start with this side. So this one here is from, let me just make sure you're all in. Yep, but I just want to make sure we're all focused and you can see. So this is from my Drawing 1 class, and it's just a still life. We had to do it in Conte crayon, which is just like a white chalky type of crayon on black paper. And so my still life was of a pepper, a lemon, in this vase. And actually, I do remember that this vase I didn't actually have. I just looked up a picture online because I didn't have anything that I liked. So I just made it up. Which you weren't supposed to do. But actually, you know, for somebody who has never drawn realistic, and I still don't, I'm kind of pleased with myself on how this all turned out. Especially like the attention to like the shadow and light right here. I think that's really effective and it's quite symmetrical. Obviously it's just a quick study, but I think I did a pretty good job. Actually, you go to the library yesterday and I got a book about how to draw birds realistically. Because I've had this urge lately to learn how to draw kind of realistically, so maybe I'll take you on that adventure with me. Oh, and then we have some butterflies. So one thing I do is you can go to the craft store and you can get these like little papery butterflies on a wire, and I think they use them for floral displays, but I like to like attach them to like my bed or my lamps, so they have little butterflies everywhere. And so this was just me drawing a couple of those little butterflies. Honestly, I don't think these two are that good. This one's not too bad though. So then we have this piece. Oops, it's upside down. So this piece actually wasn't something I did for college work. I just know I kind of did it around the time that I was in college. And so we have 4 little dumplings who were these little clay figurines that I used to sell. I don't sell them anymore. And obviously they're just playing around a little planet here. This was a cool collab I did over on Instagram with a creator called Clover Knoll. She makes these really awesome and adorable plushies and stuffed animals, and so she had made a couple of my characters, and then I did an illustration, and it was a cool little collab thing. I'll try and throw a picture of the stuff she makes. This was a few years ago, like I said, but super cool experience, and I actually got to keep one. I got to have the Eloise the sun, and it was just super cool, and I'm really grateful for that experience. But this was a digital print I made. I think I got it printed on Canva. I actually don't dislike the print quality. I don't print on Canva anymore because I like to print at home where I can experiment, because if a print doesn't sell, then I didn't waste money on it. So then we have, this is a bigger piece. I'm just going to stand up again, make sure that you can see. Sorry for bumping. You know, I'm not perfect, you guys. But, so this is a piece, again, from my Drawing 1 class, where we had to do a self-portrait. Looking at this now, I think this is quite a glamorous way for me to have drawn myself. I don't think it looks like me. These are the glasses that I had at the time. And, you know, I used to always wear my hair like this. My hair is short now, but it used to be really, really long. But, like, I don't have a mouth like that. My eyes obviously are stylized. The nose doesn't look like my nose. Like, I think more than I tried to draw myself. I used to draw, like, girl characters a lot, and they looked like this. I think I kind of just drew a girl character and then put, like, my hairstyle and my glasses and how I would used to draw like fake freckles on and do that kind of thing. I think that's kind of what happened here. I do think it's not a bad piece. I like how it's not overly shaded. It's fairly simple, but trust me, this didn't look like me at the time, and it doesn't look like me now. So I'm going to move these and get these set aside, and I'm going to take a little tea break. Oh, it's already starting to go warm. I like my tea super, super hot. Like how I like soup too. So I'm just gonna take, let's see, Let me just take it all out and we can start working our way through this pile. So, on top here, the first one is this adorable little girl. Oh my gosh, I love how tiny this is. Oh, there's a little one. I doubt you can see it. It's really light on the back. I think I was definitely playing around with some watercolors here. And it's funny, I had some Jean Davenport palettes. I was going to say, I don't know what watercolors I had, but I love her little hands. And look at those little nubby feet. Oh, she is adorable. And I love her round eyes. This is something that I might have to play around with more. Let me know if you'd like to see a video of me playing with this character some more. I think that'd be pretty fun. I'm going to set it aside. But just a tiny, tiny little artwork there. How cute. So this one, I don't remember if this was for a class or if it was just for fun. I can't remember. My gut says it was just for fun. And it looks like it's done in colored pencils with a little bit of white gel pen. Colored pencils is something that I've never really gotten into. But I did definitely play around with, like, it's always been one of those kind of necessary evils. It's like, if I need to get fine detail or I need to work with dry media, then sometimes I'll use it. But I've never considered myself a colored pencil artist, that's for sure. But we have like a sun and moon and some weird, it kind of feels new agey, which I'm not really that into. If you are, that's your thing, but that is not my thing. But I do always like to play with the sun and the moon. It's just a common theme in my artwork for some reason. And I love butterflies. So I was definitely inspired by something here. I'm not sure what. But we have that one. Now, this one I do love. Because this one is more reminiscent of the type of art not only that I like to draw, but the kind of things that I like to see. Of course, she's funky. Look at her weird little hands, and her feet don't make sense, and apparently I named her Ruby. But, and it looks like she's done in colored pencil too. All things considered, she's kind of cute, okay? I like her little massive tulip head, no neck. She looks like Honey Boo Boo. Yes, she does. Oh my gosh, okay. But, this is one of those things that, excuse me. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say this is my best work, and I do think that my skills have developed past this now. I do like the concept of this. I don't know how I would do it in my style now, but again, it might be something fun that inspires me down the line. So this one is another one of those drawing one classes with the black paper and Conte crayon. And I do remember that for this piece, we had to draw a collage we had already made. And I did this collage that had, these are onions, and it had all sorts of textures in the background. And I don't know where this is from. But it was a black and white collage that we had to do. And then we had to draw the collage, which I actually think is a pretty cool project. And we ended up with this abstract kind of piece where it's not something I would hang in my house, but I do like it. And I remember feeling really proud of the onions. I think that some of the Conte crayon has rubbed off because it's not as vibrant as I remember it being. Or maybe I just remember it being better than it actually is, because I think we do that a lot with our art, to be honest. So this is another one that I did at the time that I was getting my art degree, but it wasn't it was just for fun. And I used to draw girls in this style all the time. I had a really hard time with their bodies, and this girl's body is kind of misshapen, but I do like the vibe of it. I like all the pink. I love pink. And I think she's got some good qualities. She's got those really big eyes that I always used to draw. I have no idea what kind of paper this is on, though. It's got the weirdest texture. It's like, I definitely used watercolor on this, or some gouache, and it does not feel like watercolor paper, so I have no idea what this is. But, yeah, I always used to do, these girls just kind of looking off into the distance. And I would usually just do their heads because I didn't know how to draw their bodies. I can see a little sneak peek here of some of the me practicing with the bodies, but we have this kind of girl who's a bit... Thankfully those clouds are there. Let's just say that. So we have this mermaid, and again you can see my proportions are weird. Like, I felt very confident in the head and the hair and the neck and shoulders, and then it gets kind of weird. Like, she's very squashed down. I do like these though. These jellyfish, I think those are kind of neat. And again, a color scheme I quite like. But she could definitely use some work. I remember I was drawing mermaids pretty frequently because I wanted to get the feel for like the body proportions without having to draw like the hips, the legs, the feet, all that. So I do like that I was making some effort there, but it's funny when I look at these paintings now, I feel like they have a lot less personality than the work I currently do. And, even this, I feel like has a lot more personality than this one. She's not terrible, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this is me more trying to imitate and replicate the things I liked on Instagram versus create something that's truly my own and, like my own voice. But we have this mermaid girl. Then we have this one, which I remember was a draw this in your style. And it's funny, even at the time, I didn't think this was that great. And I think it's okay now. But people loved this on Instagram. My Instagram has always been a place that I've struggled to get off the ground. But to this day, I think this is still my most liked picture, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know what it is about this one that people like. I don't think I dated it either. But one thing that's kind of cool to see is that I've done this with a fine liner, some watercolors, and some colored pencil for shading. And that's how I've been doing my artwork lately. So it's cool to see how I've come a little more full circle. But yeah, people really liked this one. And I, to this day, don't honestly get why. This was another draw this in the new style. And it's so funny because I remember when I painted this, I was so proud of myself. I thought this is the best thing I've ever painted in my whole entire life. This is so good. The proportions are amazing. And I probably will never paint anything as great as this. And now looking at it, she is a pathetic creature. I'm sorry. But she is. Like, first of all, she's sad. Second of all, she has zombie colored skin. Third of all, the littlest arms ever. Like, that arm is the size of her head, I think. Now, again, I'm not trying to tear myself down. And of course, every single person goes through stages with their art. Like, you have to make art that you're not proud of in the future to get better. You have to make art at every stage, basically. And so, it's not that I am saying that this is a terrible piece of work and should have never, ever, gotten praise for myself. What I am saying is that it's just funny to look back and see something that I was so proud of at the time that I don't think is all that great now. But this was another draw this in your style, and I was getting into that. I think I was posting my work on Instagram, and those are always fun challenges. I don't do them often, but I still like to fiddle around with them every now and then. Then we have this girl who I think I was doing something like medieval princess type of thing. This was not a draw this in your style. This was just me, and I was practicing again with the bodies and all this. And this is definitely something I saw a reference for on Pinterest. Even still, that is where I get most of my drawing inspo. She's got a little baby hand. But this one I actually don't hate. I feel like the proportions are better, and I think the dress is actually kind of cool. Her face is, she doesn't look happy. She's very neutral in the face, which I'd like to see some expression. But all in all, she's not too bad. And I've gone in with some white gel pen to do some highlights and add some blushy to her cheeks with some colored pencils. So this one, I know exactly what it is, and it's so funny looking, but this is kind of a special piece to me. I see it's two-sided, so I'll flip it around. So in my, let me think, I was a junior in college and I was in another drawing class, and we had to do a narrative project. And so I started doodling and coming up with a character, and it's turned into this whole thing for me. This is my character, Ulf. This is him in his very, very early stages. You can see here where I'm kind of finding out who he is. I remember really loving this one, and I still love it. I think it's so whimsical and so funny. And you get a sense of like his bounciness. It's like he's made of jelly. I'll try and put up a couple pictures of Ulf, and he has a cat named Melon now and what they look like. But yeah, I've had this urge lately to redraw him. I haven't painted him or drawn him in so long, but there for a while it was like all I was drawing, and I've written many stories about him. I tried to get a couple published, but they ended up not getting anywhere. But I think I'd really like to bring him back, at least for a day. So keep your eyes peeled for that. He will probably be making an appearance in the near future. So this was a gouache study I had done. We'd done it in like, it's so funny. So we did it in like these, you make these like cardboard 3-sided rooms basically, and you put different colored paper, and we were supposed to do it all in one color to practice with tone and, different opacities of the gouache, because gouache you can lay down really thick or you can really water it down like watercolor. And when I did this study, like you can see, I put in the little like stage for the still life, and I did not realize at the time that you weren't supposed to do that. I don't know what I was thinking. I feel kind of silly for painting the whole thing. It almost looks cool. It has the surreal quality, but it, yeah. I was a little embarrassed when I realized nobody else painted that, because I just didn't think that we weren't supposed to. I didn't think, I don't know, you guys. I do like this paper, though. It's really nice paper. And I wish I kept my gouache paints. I got rid of them because I wasn't using them. But, yeah, so we have this kind of boring still life of a candlestick, a vase, and a cube. So this one, I think looks like there's two. I don't know why. It looks like there's another one in here. Okay, yeah, for some reason, I'm not sure what's going on here. They're taped together. Let me see if I can open this. So we have some tarot cards here. And like I said, I think I was a little influenced. Excuse me, I have to like keep clearing my throat for some reason. I was kind of inspired by things that were a bit new agey at the time. And I try and stay away from that now, just because I have really tried to root myself in God and my Christian faith. I've always been a Christian, but I don't think I realized that those things were kind of at odds. And that's just my belief. Like I said, I respect, people's different beliefs. But I've always been a bit of a hippy-dippy girl, and I think I was feeding off of that with some of the people I was hanging around with. But we have some tarot-inspired pieces, and I'll still talk about them just briefly. I've never even understood tarot cards. I just thought it'd be a cool series. I do think that, while she's not perfect, the actual girl here, I kind of like. I like her face, like it's very juicy and plump. But, I don't think it's too bad. Let me see what's in here. Oh, I don't think it's anything. It's just like a sketch. And for some reason I taped them together. But there's nothing, really to see in there. But yeah, again, I was drawing a lot of girls in this style. And this, I remember, was during my junior year. I remember sitting at the table drawing this. And I remember the apartment I was in at the time. And, is she amazing? No, but I think there's something to be said for this style, even though I don't draw in it anymore. This is not something I've made. I don't know what this is. I went somewhere. Oh, this is from a art gallery in Minnesota that I visited. And this is a birthday card that's in there for some reason. It's cute. It's stained, but it's cute. So here we have another tarot card one, and it's two-sided again. So I think it's kind of funny that it says death. You know, like, ugh. But again, I remember really liking this drawing at the time, and I actually still think it's kind of cool, like seeing her bones coming through and the way the dress comes through. She looks really sad. I like her hair though. I think she's kind of pretty. But, you know, again, this was just a little series I was working on at the time. Don't know what the tarot cards mean. Wish I did, because I think that it can be not even just like this sort of stuff, but it can be tricky when you don't know too much about what you're drawing. Out of context, you can kind of make some mistakes. So it's always good to kind of learn a little bit more if you're drawing something like that has a foundation, basically. And on the back side, we have this high priestess one. And she looks confident, which I guess is good for a high priestess. I don't even know what a high priestess is, you guys. This is not my realm of expertise, obviously. But again, I like their eyes. I think that they're kind of captivating. They might have a little bit of a Disney princess vibe, but I do think, let me just find one here. I do think between these two, I really did start to find a bit more of my style. Even though I am definitely taking a lot of inspiration from the people I'd seen on Instagram, especially drawing with waffles. I love her videos even now, but at the time I was like really obsessed with them. And so there's definitely a lot of inspiration for how she drew her characters. Here we have another Ulf character study. I like this one. This one, I don't know what's going on. He kind of looks electrocuted. But again, this was just figuring out this character, figuring out what I wanted to do with his story and his illustrations and all of that. So we have another Draw This in Your Style. This is a witch, which feels very appropriate for this nice cozy October day. And she's not terrible. Her eyes are like really big and really close together. But I do think that the hat is drawn well, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I guess I don't really have a lot to say about this one. I do think the color scheme is nice. It's very pastel. Something that I actually don't do that often. I do a lot of vibrant and saturated colors. So it's kind of cool to see my art, but in a different like color palette. Also, I don't know if this is something that if you're an artist that you relate to, but when you look at old art and it isn't like in the same style that you draw in now, do you feel like you didn't even make it? Like, I don't feel like this is my art. I feel like this is like of a different universe's art, like a parallel universe, Zoe's art. You have to let me know what you think of these different style iterations, so I'd actually love to know. Again, we have another Draw This in Your Style. This, again, feels very different from anything I would draw now. And I never really drew in this style, like this type of character. This was definitely pulling from the original artist's piece. I think it's kind of fun. I do remember doing this at Christmas time for some reason. I think it's supposed to be like a little plant or radish character. I'm not entirely sure. I'd love to try and find the original artwork. I know that it's somewhere on my Instagram, so if you're interested, or maybe I'll be so curious as to scroll way back and see. But yeah, it's kind of a funny piece. Now this one, I don't believe was a Draw This in Your Style. I think I did this my senior year, and I actually quite like this one. I think this one's kind of good still. I love the hair, and I think the profile is quite nice. I think I actually learned how to draw like profiles on this piece. But I like the contrast of the really warm and bright skin tone and hair in contrast with the dark kind of stormy background. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know why she's decapitated. I think it's just, again, because I don't know how to draw bodies. Well, I do now, but then I didn't know how. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, again, it's on this weird paper. I don't know what paper I was using at the time. So, this is from one of my favorite movies. I actually just redrew this character. I'll put up a picture of that, hopefully. But this is from the movie Coraline. And it's funny because she's fine. Like, she's drawn... Okay, that cat, though... I don't know. There's something really off about that cat, don't you think? But I think this is fun. I always like to draw things. I'm not a big fan artist, but it is always fun to see how things look under your hands, you know, when you draw it. And, you know, with movies like Coraline, like, I love the way that movie looks. That it's really fun, I think, to do paintings like this every now and then. I think this is another card. This is a Christmas card, clearly. Oh, look at my style. It's changed so much. No, obviously, I didn't make that. I'll leave that there to cover this one. But we have another little mini painting. Oh my gosh, cute. We have a sun and a star. I think there was a moon girl at one time, but maybe she's lost. Oh my gosh, they look like babies, though. Oh, I think I'll have to play around with her, too. I love their little rainbow stockings and their little pudgy hands. Oh, that is just so precious. See, this is the kind of thing I like even now. And last but not least, we have this weird cowgirl. I think I did this piece as a, like, trying to do my own draw this in your style type of artwork on Instagram. I think, like, actually a couple people did do it, which is cool. But, man, I don't like this at all. I think she's weird looking. And sorry to be rude, girl, but I think you're weird looking. And there's just something, there's like this, I don't mind when things have like this hybrid look, like but sometimes it's not enough human or not enough animal. Like, it needs to lean one way or the other. And to me, she's like not leaning enough. She's dancing the line. And I'm not a fan. Gosh, this does encourage me to put dates on the back of my work, because it would be really interesting to know when I made this. But this is the last one. So I think there's some really fun stuff here, you know. It's always good to see, I think, how your art has not only changed, but also how you've grown as an artist. Like, I feel much more attached to my art because it feels like a bigger part of me. Like I said, I'd love to do a video or a painting or something of bringing this character back. If I do, I'll obviously update you. But it's, I don't know, this was kind of fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there are any pieces you'd love to see me draw now in my style. I think that could also be really cool. Let me know what your favorites were. Let me know what you thought of the ones I didn't like too. And until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you subscribe and continue to follow along on my artist journey. And until the next one, have a beautiful rest of your day. And bye-bye.